is a lot.
So
Okay.
we're getting a Jane who's kind of seeing the team and Wella for the first time. So what does she think of them?
You mean Remy?
Remy,
Yeah.
Jane,
I know. I'm thoroughly confused constantly. Well, she doesn't really. The funny thing is, I will say, she doesn't really like them, which is funny because Jane loved them. So to play this opposite, it kind of makes us all laugh in between takes. Like, I will literally ruin takes because I'll do something as Remy, and then Rich.com and Esmer will respond, but it's so opposite than what we're used to that we kind of start laughing because it's so awkward and funny. And the one person she sort of likes is Boston Arliss Crab, played by Josh Dean, who was in Esmer Rich.com's love interest once upon a moon. And so it's funny, she kind of likes the people that are bad. She just gravitates towards the people that are corrupt, which is funny. But yeah, it's a weird dynamic right now, in the best way possible. We've got a lot of humor this season, even more so because Ennis Esmer is now a series regular. So having him around all the time has just been the best.
So what does Remy think of Jane's relationships with them?
I think she thinks Jane is weak, and she shouldn't have had this many friendships because it clouds her judgment. And I think she thinks they're all incompetent and doesn't have any use for them other than to use them as puppets, which she's doing right now. So that's interesting. But there are moments, though, that we've put in where a little bit of Jane cracks through because maybe Rich.com says something that's funny and Remy will laugh and then catch herself and turn it off. And then, she'll maybe hug Weller for 1 second too many. And so we've been putting that in there, which is, I think, brilliant, so it's not completely Jekyll and Hyde. And it starts to get worse the more headaches she gets, the sicker she gets, because she's poisoned by the zip drug pretty badly. We're playing the physical sides of that a lot right now. So it's interesting. It's an interesting thing. But I will tell you, right now in episode 9, I'm playing both caricatures on screen at the same time. So it's a whole load of crazy in the best way possible.
After so many episodes, how tired you became when you have to craft to do the whole makeup? I'm curious about it.
Well, the good thing is, it's funny playing Remy with tattoos because that's not how we've seen her. But because we have to play fall and winter on our show, I'm covered up a lot. So I don't wear as many of them as I did in the first season. But I still wear the neck tats, which I think I probably still have a little bit of that one on from yesterday because we didn't wrap till 2 a.m. this morning. I'll do the back of all the neck and the hands and all that stuff. We've got that down so fast. And if they, for some reason, are slightly messed up, they just don't photograph it. They're like, you know what, we don't have time for that. Just put your hands in your pockets. I'm like, okay. But it's funny with Remy because clearly she doesn't like the tattoos. She's like, oh, this is Jane. And she's angry that she ever became Jane. And so she's got a lot of resentment, which is so funny. So anything, makeup-wise, we'll make Remy's eyes a lot darker. I have longer hair. And some stuff like that just to make sure the audience can tell the difference. We use a lot of camera tricks to make sure that this is Remy pretending to be Jane. So it's been really fun because the whole crew has gotten to play Remy, basically. All the camera department, makeup, everybody's getting to pitch in to what this woman is like now, which is great because it's less work for me.
I would like to know more about the relationship with her daughter, how Remy is as a mother.
So, I don't remember if this happened last season or this season, but the daughter goes to college. So she's gone right now. I don't know what they're planning on with her coming back because I don't read ahead, so I genuinely don't know. But they had to write in that she had to go away for a little bit because it wouldn't, I think the show wouldn't be short enough to fit in the time slot. We'd have to do too much with that, I think. So they're like, we have to, get her to go away for a semester or two at school, and then I think we talk about her a lot on the show, we just don't see her a lot yet.
And how did you prep to portray a new character after 3 years portraying the old one? How was that process for you?
Oh, I was like, hell yeah, because, I played the same character for so long that I was like, I need to do something different. Creatively, I was like, what can I do with Remy? And I just made her, I have this thing where I just don't blink a lot. So I'll just stare at somebody in a scene and make them really uncomfortable. And I was like, that would be funny because she's so intense. And then when she has a headache, it physically almost makes her drop to the ground. Or she'll get really like slightly shaky, but I make her really like she's a loose cannon, like about to explode a lot of times, and just really intense. Like there's this scene with Rich.com in Tokyo. He's so funny, and this is so funny. And I basically tell him don't screw it up, and I put my hand on his shoulder, and he just freezes because like I'm very slow as Remy. I'm not fast, and I'm creepy. Like I like being creepy. It's fun.
How are the action scenes in Tokyo?
I think you guys will see today that it kicked my ass. And my stunt girl is incredible, and I'm so happy she's as good as she was, because there was a lot of times, for some reason the rooftop we fought on had these crazy metal poles coming out of the bottom that were short, and you couldn't really see them because it was dark, and so there were a lot of times where I found the pole but she didn't, which was good, and I tripped or fell or did something like that. The sword work was really fun. I didn't have as much time training for it as she did, so I basically let her do the lion's share of a lot of the wide shots because, you know, you can't tell the difference anyway. And I didn't want to hit somebody with the sword. It's dull, but it can still hurt somebody really bad. So we've become like a great team. And again, like I said, right now I'm playing both characters on screen at the same time. So when they're on my face as Jane, they're going to be over her back as Remy. So she's getting to act with me now, which is really fun. And I was like, I hope you love me because I'm making you do a lot of work. And then, of course, there's going to be an epic fight scene between both characters. Again, I know everybody liked that in season 2, and we pulled that off so well that they want to do it again, kind of.
I was going to say, just because we know that the two characters are really different, but what do you think is similar about the two of them?
I'd say the biggest similarity that just popped into my head is they always complete a mission. They will, if they're given a task, they do it. It's just how they do it is very different. So if they say they're going to do something, they absolutely go and do it, which is kind of nice. There's a little bit of vulnerability. I mean, there's a lot in Jane, but there's a little bit with Remy with the fact that she's dying, and she's very sick, and she's afraid, basically, because she wants to complete a mission before she dies. And she's racing to find this cure, and she can't seem to find it. And that part's really sad, and I think that's what kind of makes her relatable and likable in a weird, twisted way. You kind of cheer for her. You're like, oh, Remy's kind of cool. I like this. Like, you kind of like her, but you're supposed to not like her. So it's been fun to sort of play with that, you know. But yeah, I'm trying to think what else I can say without getting in trouble. But nobody knows. Ask me anything. Yeah, not my fault. I like to talk.
You said that Remy likes the bad guys, Rich.com's love interest and everything. Is there anyone from the FBI that she thinks is particularly useful for her?
There isn't, but there's a character that's another villain on the show that she crosses paths with in the FBI, and I did this thing where I wanted to sort of stare at her a little too long to be like, that girl's cool. You know, like, I just wanted to play it because Jane would be very like, oh, this woman's a bad woman. Let me see how I can protect everybody. Whereas Remy's like, how could I use that girl? You know, like in that way. So I play these little like smirks, like these creepy smiles that I do as Remy, which I didn't know they were creepy. I was just smiling, but they're like, that's great. That looks so diabolical. I was like, oh, okay. That was alrighty. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know. Whatever.
Will Remy and Avery meet this season?
I don't know. I actually don't know. Right now we're in episode 9. I don't think so, but sometimes they'll put things in like a flashback that I don't know about until right before we shoot it. I'm like, oh, they did that a lot last year where I was like, who is this? Oh, okay, all right, sure. So I don't think they're gonna meet. We talk about her a lot right now, but Remy's just very factual about it because she doesn't care, you know, but she has to pretend she cares. Whereas Weller's like, I think we should tell Avery what's going on, like that you're sick, and she's like, why? You know, just completely like, who cares? It's not going to make a difference, you know, type of thing. And then she has to cover by saying, like, I just wouldn't want to worry her. You know, like, trying to be, like, all sweet and stuff, but she's not.
If they were to meet, what do you think the circumstances would be?
I don't think Remy would recognize her. She'd probably just walk right past her and not even know. Although I'm sure she's seen pictures of her. She might, I don't know, actually. It would be an interesting thing. I wonder if she would care or if she would get rid of her. I have no idea. It's kind of creepy. Yeah, I don't know. Really, the sky's the limit. I don't have as many answers as I wish I had for you guys because I'm actually like, God, they could go any which way with certain things because we don't have a history with Remy just yet, you know, of seeing her a lot, so anything can happen.
So Remy's pretending to be Jane, and I know that she's probably worried about Weller noticing because husband's going to notice the wife is different, but is there anyone else that she's particularly careful around?
I think she has to be most careful around Weller. And, you know, he's thinking, oh, she's just kind of acting strange because she's very sick, you know? So she's playing on the fact that, like, oh, it's the headaches, or oh, it's this or that. And it's, you know, it's really that she hates it, which is so funny. And then the only person that, and I don't know if they kept this in the edit or not, but we decided kind of cast-wise that it'd be funny if Rich.com was the one that was like, something is wrong with Jane, you know, like kind of just this double take or like a second glance of like, does anybody else think this is weird, like, you know, type of thing. So Innes and I have been playing that, but I'm not sure if they're going to keep it in the edit, like, because it might be too obvious. But there's a couple times where, especially at the end of the sword fight, I do something very bad to somebody and I smile and he sees it, but nobody else does. And so he looks completely terrified of me, but also Rich.com doesn't have as big of a history of Jane as the other people, so he's not really sure if it's Jane or something's wrong with Jane, so it's kind of funny. So he helps lighten the very scary, dramatic moments that we have with Remy, which is good. Yeah.
If you had to choose one only character to play from now on, which would be?
I don't know. I kind of Remy because I haven't gotten to play her very long, and I think it's fun to play a villain.
Fair.
But yeah, because I feel like I've explored Jane quite a bit, you know. So I'm like, let's go with Remy, but I don't think that's gonna happen.
Yeah.
So who knows? I don't know though, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Last question.
I asked this to Sullivan as well, but what was it like filming the scene where Jane and Weller changed places?
Oh, that was funny. I was like, yeah, put on the tattoo, see how it goes. Like he basically stood there like this. Like he didn't really move much, and I was like, you can move around, like because I remember when I first put him on, I was like, can I touch something? And they're like, yeah, move around in it, and I was like, it feels like a giant Band-Aid is all over my body, so I didn't know if I can sit. And they're like, sit down, do whatever. So I was trying to tell him because he didn't want to shave certain parts of his body, and I said, if you don't shave the hair off, it's gonna hurt when you're taking the tattoos off because it's glue. And he's like, no, and then you know. So, but it was actually really fun because we had to pretend that we were each other. So I had to sort of do his pauses when he talks, and then he had to sort of do the deer in the headlights, vulnerable, like, who am I type of thing. And we were cracking up the whole time, and Ashley was just dying. She was like, I can't look at you guys, and I was like, okay. I was like, yeah. So, but did you guys like that? I never even saw it, so I didn't know how it came out, but. Yeah, but I was so happy when they were like, we're going to put all the tattoos on Sullivan. I was like, oh, I got to videotape these. I thought it was funny.
Thank you.
Yeah, he was